You both received your instructions in your dressing room. Okay, look. If he goes right here, it's okay. Anything below that's low. Right here is okay. Anything below that's low. I want a good, clean fight. Obey my commands at all times. Above all, protect yourself at all times. Let's go.
They call this a dream fight.
The Filipino crowd chanting for Pacquiao as he moved toward the center of the ring. Which styles will emerge in the early rounds? Is De La Hoya here to box or to fight? Is Pacquiao here to try to create an immediate storm or to tactically bide his time and hope to pressure De La Hoya in the late rounds? Good straight left hand up the middle for Manny Pacquiao.
Let him go, Manny.
The height differential did not show up so graphically at the weigh-in yesterday, where De La Hoya was barefoot and Pacquiao had tennis shoes on. Today, they do look 4 inches apart in height.
You can see the height difference here. But Oscar seems to be very intent and very angry. I was just see the expression and looking in his eyes. I've known him. But he's fighting a very intelligent fight.
He takes a straight left hand and a right hook from Pacquiao and seems intent on retaliating. But already Pacquiao shows you that he wants to move in, move out quickly. Move in, land a flurry, move back out of De La Hoya's range. And the quickness of Pacquiao is a factor in round 1.
Those 2 punches have reddened Oscar's face already.
They seem to have been the only clear punches that have landed thus far. And it's interesting that Manny is using his footwork. He's using his bit, moving around better than Oscar.
And Oscar is not firing his jab, perhaps because of the early bobbing head movement of Manny Pacquiao. De La Hoya knows he wants to keep his jab going throughout the fight. He hasn't really gotten it going so far.
This has the makings of being a very interesting fight, and I think as it goes on, sooner or later you're going to get some very good exchanges. But right now, Manny is fighting a very smart fight.
Well, if there are 2 graphic impressions from round 1, they're simple. De La Hoya is so much taller, Pacquiao so much faster. And now De La Hoya nails Pacquiao momentarily against the ropes and catches him with a left hook to the body.
Oscar needs to do just what he's doing now and use it more, the left jab.
But he can't find Pacquiao at the moment. Pacquiao's movement confusing him at the moment.
But right, it would get him busy watching the jab. But right now, Manny is hitting him with his punches off.
That momentarily shocked Oscar.
I think the speed has been bothersome for Oscar throughout the round, who simply can't believe how easily Pacquiao snakes his left hand right through the middle of De La Hoya's guard. De La Hoya lands a left hook. But Pacquiao gets away.
He punched, but nothing landed too much for the most part. Right here, you see what surprised me and has been probably the most effective punch. The little left-hand lead of Manny's is he shoots right between the gloves
of his career. There was a moment when he was, even though dangerous and destructive, largely a one-note tune. Jab, jab, straight left hand. His ability to fashion the the lead left hand, starting his offense with it, as he's doing there, shows how much he's progressed as a tactician.
One thing that you think is very obvious, Oscar De La Hoya has very little head movement, where Manny Pacquiao is using his upper body movement with his hands, his feet, his gloves, where Oscar is too stationary at this stage here. Manny is a much more elusive target.
You know, Oscar used to dominate smaller guys when he was a young fighter. He was always put in with guys a weight division or 2 less than him. He isn't doing it yet.
And he hasn't really adjusted to the straight left-hand lead of Manny Pacquiao. He seems to be expecting Pacquiao to start with the right jab, and Pacquiao continues to confound him by coming straight up the middle with the left-hand lead. He has reddened De La Hoya's nose from top to bottom with that punch. You heard Freddie Roach telling Manny Pacquiao between rounds.
Manny's upper body movement and defense is very effective, as you say. Oscar cannot time his head movement the way he's moving and bobbing and weaving and dancing in and out.
Indeed, De La Hoya is reduced to mostly trying to go at the body because he hasn't been able to find Pacquiao's head.
But he has no head movement at all. His head is stationary.
Good body shot. Doubled over Oscar, it seemed. And as you said, he is bending his head so that there is almost no height difference between them.
Pacquiao lands a brilliant uppercut up the middle.
Yeah.
And if round one was mostly Manny Pacquiao, round two is even more so. De La Hoya has not been able to solve Pacquiao's speed, movement, the southpaw style.
If you look, you get into fine details, not only the head movement is not there with Oscar. He's fighting coming in most of the time leading on his heels, whereas Manny is operating on the ball of his feet.
And somehow, so far, he is neutralizing Oscar's left hand, one of the best weapons in the sport for over a decade.
The speed and variety of Manny Pacquiao for Oscar De La Hoya, who has landed only 6 of 56 attempted jabs, according to CompuBox. De La Hoya hasn't really gotten his offense going, and he hasn't solved Pacquiao's game yet.
Even though Manny is slightly winning, I think as the fight goes on, I see him becoming even better. I can't really visualize Oscar doing much better than this. He looks a little slower, doesn't look as strong, body looks a little weak. And as I said, his upper body movement is not going on.
You're telling me we're going to see a shutout, Emmanuel?
I think Manny's going to get stronger as the fight goes on, even though he's winning now. Oscar has no defense for those punches. He's just stationary.
Why did so many ringside experts think that the fight wasn't even a credible
Because
idea?
the first hour we thought he was going to be a bigger guy, and as it turned out, he's just a taller guy. The difference is I thought he would have came in about 160 pounds, as most people. For him, they almost picked up any weight, then he's just taller, but nowhere near where we say stronger or as big as he should be.
Boxing annoys and irritates Oscar, he says, and he is very annoyed and irritated at the moment. He is not getting off at all. He hasn't thrown a punch in 20 or 30 seconds, and that was a reach-in right hand. But sooner or later, he's going to land something. You have to believe that.
He just landed a good left hook to the body there. And Pacquiao, following Freddie Roach's instructions, moved off the ropes as soon as he felt his back against him. There is a big swelling outside the left eye of Oscar De La Hoya, the product of Manny Pacquiao's right hooks. There's a redness in the middle of De La Hoya's face, the product of Pacquiao's straight left hand. You might describe the first couple of rounds as shock and awe. Pacquiao's speed taking De La Hoya to the cleaners. Now Oscar seems just a little more comfortable, though Pacquiao is still more offensive, more the aggressor in the fight, moving in and out effectively.
But Oscar's, I think, to me, more aggressive. But the punch with the snap and the speed is coming from Pacquiao. I don't see the punch, the snap in Oscar's punches as much as Manny is. There's a lot of difference in the steam.
And that's because he's uncertain where Manny's going to be.
Good point. Good point. You can tell that.
Is it?
Absolutely. And right now, Oscar, I know he's into this kangaroo meat or whatever he's doing and things, but to me, he just doesn't look that strong.
Oscar De La Hoya has fought since September of 1997 when he fought Hector Camacho Sr. Pacquiao has dominated De La Hoya in the first 2 rounds with his straight left-hand lead up the middle. Early in his career, Pacquiao always... Harold, how do you score through 3?
Look at him, 3-0, 30-27. Manny Pacquiao. Jim, what he's doing is he's turning the guy. Look, right jab, left hand, and then he moves to the side. He's got Oscar turning. If Oscar can't get set, he can't get his punches low. And Manny's turning him. Oscar looks like a guy doing a 360. 3-0. Manny Pacquiao based on not only clean punching, ring generalship when he turns the guy.
And when Harold was speaking, Oscar landed a good straight right hand, but then Pacquiao came back seconds later with a flurry of left hands.
The biggest and most effective punch in the entire fight has been the straight left of Manny Pacquiao between the gloves of Oscar.
Let's see if De La Hoya can develop some confidence in his jab over the course of these next few rounds so that he can bring coherency to his own offense.
Oscar needs to work his jab. Whether it lands or not, it'll at least get Manny preoccupied. And then he can land the big right hand, but he's not jabbing enough. And
Well,
he needs to
let's face
feint. He needs to feint it sometimes and then jab in order to make Manny move and then jab him after he moves.
The right hand has never been a super destructive punch for De La Hoya. I asked Freddie Roach yesterday in our meeting, I said, have you ever seen Oscar De La Hoya really hurt somebody with the right hand? And he smiled knowingly and said, nope. And that's a factor in the fight. The straight right hand is often the #1 weapon of choice for a conventional fighter against a southpaw. For the same reason that Pacquiao is landing his straight left hand. The avenue of approach is open. It's still Pacquiao's quickness dominating the slower De La Hoya.
And if Oscar's not going to move his head, at least he keep his right hand near the center of his face, and he keeps it up right near the side, they're leaving a perfect hole for Manny to go right through, and that's what he's doing. And that's what Oscar needs to do, is keep working that jab. Manny could not time him so much, and even if he doesn't land his ass, keep pumping him. But he doesn't jab enough.
Good body shots there by Pacquiao. And if there was doubt coming in as to whether Pacquiao could attack De La Hoya with his punching power, there shouldn't be any doubt anymore.
And you watch when Manny lands his left, he then moves off often to his own right. So he stays out of the line of fire. He hits it and moves away as soon as he lands it.
This is getting embarrassing.
It's an advance when De La Hoya dodges a left hand. Virtually all of them seem to be landing for Pacquiao.
Oscar looks old and he cannot control the situation. The worst thing in the world is to come back and complain, I can't handle the speed. And that's exactly what David Diaz said, but David Diaz wasn't the fighter of Oscar.
Manny, knock him off his game, hug him, beat him up, and the body tries something new.
If Oscar would just work his jab, keep his right hand in the front of his face, and when Manny comes in, take a half a step back and then punch, he would be effective, but I don't think he's going to do that.
De La Hoya looked a lot better in May of 2007 against Floyd Mayweather, who was far and away the preeminent fighter in the world at that time, and since then has retired unbeaten. Low blow by Pacquiao after he strafed De La Hoya with the right hand upstairs.
There's the feeling of a fighter when he's in there with somebody who's always beating him to the punch.
This is a terrible feeling. The worst thing it is, as I say, the deal, not handling speed. And he doesn't block those right hands at all. He has his right hand permanently stuck to the side of his face, and Manny just punches us like a wide open invitation.
Anything,
he has no defense.
He's getting hit with virtually every shot that Pacquiao throws.
And Manny is going to get better as the fight goes, as I said.
Well, and Manny is still going in and out. He's not getting careless and carried away with the fact that he's doing this.
No, it's a brilliant fight plan for Pacquiao. Far more of an intelligent and tactical fight plan than I personally had expected. And perhaps more so than De La Hoya expected as well. And Oscar just can't get off. Pacquiao's speed is a riddle he has not been able to solve.
I think you summed it all up in that phrase, Jim.
Well, Oscar used to be the speed that killed.
Yeah, when a lot of the experts...
Good body shot by Oscar.
Biggest funk of the fight for De La Hoya, and he suddenly gets it going with 3 left hooks.
And a lot of experts picked Oscar to win because of being big. They figured right now he would be about 13 pounds bigger than he is.
And they also figured he'd be about 4 rounds ahead.
Yes.
Get back into this fight.
Well, if judges are looking for a round to give to De La Hoya, this might be the one, although now Pacquiao. So it probably would have been a reach for any judge to give the round to De La Hoya. But you heard how enthusiastically Nacho Beristain, his trainer, told him, mucho mejor, much better when he came back to the corner. A lull of quiet now gripping the crowd as if they are waiting to see what might happen next. De La Hoya fans have found little to get excited about in the first 5 rounds.
De La Hoya has decided now to be a counterpuncher. He's going to try to make Manny lead him and look for an opening.
And prevent Pacquiao from countering him as effectively as he has so far.
Even a lot of those punches that Manny has landed, which is on the cup, if you notice, he's never been worn because Oscar has his cup extremely high. So they're really on the belt line. They're not on really low punches.
They trade body shots. Pacquiao giving at least as good as he gets. When Nacho Beristain asks between rounds for 45s, he's not asking that De La Hoya look 45 years old, but rather that he throws his combination left hook, left uppercut, a punch that's thrown at an upward angle trajectory. That's why they call it a 45. He hasn't been able to land it much tonight. Straight left hand right up the pipe for Pacquiao.
And Pacquiao throws that left hand in 2 different ways. He throws a short, quick one, almost like a jab, and then he throws the power punch right down the middle.
That's still been the most devastating single punch in the entire fight. Neither fighter been able to establish any other dominant punch at all, but he just throws that little left cross straight out anytime he wants it. It's almost guaranteed it's going to land about 90% of the time.
And as a graphic visual mark of what's happening in the fight, Manny Pacquiao looks largely untouched as we come toward the end of the sixth, and he is gradually reconfiguring De La Hoya's beautiful face.
Yeah, the left eye looks
scuffed up after fighting Steve Forbes in May. Fighting Manny Pacquiao is something entirely different from fighting Steve.
Here we see once again Manny Pacquiao shooting a straight left hand right down the pipe. Direct, and that's the kind of punch that's doing the damage to Oscar De La Hoya.
What they're seeing, although each round has gone by with repetitious regularity. Harold, how do you have it so far?
That gives you 6 rounds to nothing, 60-54, Manny Pacquiao. I mean, Oscar De La Hoya hasn't gotten off the schneid. He's getting shut out. And Freddie Roach used the key word at the end of round number 5 when he said, just keep turning him. Because that's what he's doing, just like I said before. Beautiful right jab, nice straight left hand by Pacquiao, and then he turns him. He moves to the side, and De La Hoya can't get set to hit him. 6-0, Pacquiao.
We're starting to get to that point in the fight already where you're thinking Oscar has to at least knock him down, if not knock him out, to change this fight.
And Oscar hasn't shown that knockout power in a long time. I disregard to some degree the Mayorga fight because I was not that respectful level of Mayorga, but he hasn't knocked out many of the top elite fighters in a long time.
Yeah, Ricardo Mayorga is no elite fighter in my view. No. He's the most willing target in the sport.
Yes.
Yeah, but still, you would think against the so-called smaller man, we'd see something more.
But I think Jim summed it up. There's too much of everything. He just cannot figure out how to get into the fight, how to hold him off, how to get to him. It's too much of everything tonight.
Oscar is maybe trying to lay a trap, but Manny is too smart and too fast for him.
This fight's going to probably end up being stopped.
Manny Pacquiao is annihilating Oscar De La Hoya. And in the 7th round, De La Hoya has 0 answers for the Pacquiao assault.
No, he cannot do anything.
Pacquiao is making De La Hoya look old, slow, ineffectual, as though he is a sparring partner.
Some of us wonder
this fight's over with.
Whether Manny Pacquiao would become the Henry Armstrong of this era. Right now, he's looking like the immortal Armstrong.
And Oscar is barely throwing back. You wonder if Tony Weeks is thinking of stopping the fight.
Yes. He's looking
hard
entirely at
shots.
Oscar.
De La Hoya hasn't been down, but that may be the only thing that's keeping Weeks from stopping it. Oscar's left eye is almost closed.
He hasn't thrown a meaningful punch in nearly this whole round.
Pacquiao is closing in on landing 50 power shots in the round. It's the most power punches, and virtually all of his fights have been counted by CompuBox.
Right here you see Pacquiao landing punch after punch, and it's not so much just the way he's landing them. The body language and position of De La Hoya's body is that of a man that's defeated. It's passive. He looks
6 power shots. David Diaz was closer to being in the fight against Pacquiao than Oscar De La Hoya is at this moment.
Harold and I both scored the last round a 10-8 round for Pacquiao.
Well, and you heard the commission doctor indicating in De La Hoya's corner that he will not be allowed to continue that kind of sustained taking punishment without the fight being stopped.
The old warrior still trying to hang in there against a man in his prime who is the most exciting little fighter in the world.
Little?
Big,
he looks
little
big
fighter.
Tonight. Pacquiao is fighting tonight in the welterweight division. The champion of this division is the almost supernaturally big welterweight, Antonio Margarito. All right, Larry, you envisioned this one. Could you see Pacquiao against Margarito?
No, and he himself says he's going back to 140 after this fight. This could be the end of the fight here.
Yeah, Oscar has no defense at all. His body language is that he doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know what to do at all.
Well, all good things come to an end. Watching this, you wonder if you'll ever see Oscar De La Hoya near the top of the sport again. It could be that the long and glorious run of the Golden Boy is seeing the curtain drawn here tonight.
Death by 1,000 left hands.
And if in fact the Golden Boy is being dethroned, it's happening at the hands of the fighter who may have the best chance of picking up his identity as the economic bell cow of the sport. Because Pacquiao's following is growing, not just in the Pacific Rim, but in the United States and Latin America as well. Tony Weeks has a tough decision in front of him. The victorious Manny Pacquiao knelt to pray in the same corner where George Foreman got down on his knees 13 years ago after knocking out Michael Moorer. As I searched the inventory of my boxing memory for an accomplishment as big as what Pacquiao did tonight, maybe Foreman's win over Moorer is the valid comparison. Something so illogical, so unusual, that you simply couldn't have imagined it would happen. A humiliating end for De La Hoya, who had to sit quietly in the corner and listen to a discussion among his trainer, his cornermen, the ring doctor, and the referee as to whether to stop the fight. It took them fully 30 seconds to debate the decision and ultimately to choose to do what you say, Emmanuel, was the right thing.
That's a very bad and embarrassing position to be in. You're sitting in the corner and the entire conversation is about
All right, fans, here we go with a bout you've all been waiting for. Introducing to you first on my right, Keith, one-time Thurman, Manny Pacquiao.
Protect yourself at all times, and what I say you must obey. Good luck. Touch him up.
We are underway.
That's a tall order. Confident in myself, but I never bet on myself.
He missed it, by a half a mile, but just landed a nice straight left hand on Thurman. That's a good right hand by Thurman right there.
And I was expecting Thurman to come out a little bit moving, but he's Pacquiao's rhythm.
Ooh, that was a nice right hand, but Pacquiao comes right back. Thurman did against Pacquiao, but Pacquiao, he's smart and he's been around and he knows he's going to try to get everything he gets touched with. He's going to try to get it back. Good right hand by Thurman.
Look at the punches landed. 10 by Thurman so far. Pacquiao at 6.
Ooh.
Manny Pacquiao. Oh, down goes Thurman.
Quick enough, but he wasn't quick enough to get it out of the reach of that punch.
Pacquiao threw that left hand to the body and that right hook right over the top.
Thurman landed 12 punches and more chance of Manny from this.
Pacquiao shook his head saying, no, it didn't hurt. It may not have hurt. But it was moving those legs very quickly, straight at you. Get out of the way. Yeah, because that's it like that, right there. To a young, strong champion that's never been beaten. So this is a little switch right here. Thurman going southpaw. Switching back to right-handed again. Those were blocked by Thurman. He closed the gap. He just put his hands together.
Punches
and bunches.
Yeah, and from the other side.
That's true. But the good thing is that move he makes, he hits you with that straight left hand of the body, and then he goes up. This is what Thurman's trying to do right now. The counter punching in accuracy. Having Manny come forward on you. Because not only will he come straight at you, down into so many guys and beating so many guys that way, but if you can keep him off balance, it's a
better time to catch him and throw punches because he leaves himself open.
Yeah, but he's so fast. 61 career victories. Record of 61, 7, and that was just a jab. It was a good stiff jab. He's really stepping in hard on that front foot. Thurman tried to sweep him right hand, and that of round 3. Kenny Albert, Lennox Lewis, Joe Goosen, Heidi Androl. Those 2 nice body shots from Thurman right there. He's just got to not do that occasionally. He's got to do it most of the round. Couple of body shots by Thurman. Time winding down in round 3, scheduled for 12. We've seen Lennox and Joe over the first 3 rounds. Let's check in with Heidi Androl. Heidi.
I told Manny he's too fast, he's too quick for this guy. Go after him with your speed. He's doing great.
Thanks so much, Freddie. Guys, back to you.
His hands go. And, he's winning this round, Thurman, right now. Even though Manny's never going to stop punching, I think.
Did you have Pacquiao winning the first 3 rounds, Lennox?
And then not allow Manny Pacquiao to get back at him.
That's right. Let's see, he let him up.
We continue to see Pacquiao using that speed, running at
down in the first round. I thought last round I gave the nod to Keith Thurman because of the body work he did. This round,
right by Pacquiao, catches Thurman.
See what Pacquiao's doing right now is giving him different angles, giving Keith Thurman different angles, so when Keith Thurman thinks he's in front of him, he's not. And he has to readjust.
With 7-8 punches in each one, and he was buzzing around Thurman like a bee. But Thurman is still in this fight right now.
And Thurman's loading up for that left hook, so Manny's better be careful because Thurman's looking for that.
drop his hands inside and work his body, try to slow him down.
What did he say to you? I saw him whisper something to you.
This is round 5, scheduled for 12 from the MGM Grand in Las Vegas.
Well, Thurman's doing the right thing. He's pressing Pacquiao, not letting him get those quick feet off on him and the quick hands. And if you keep Pacquiao on the defense like he's to keep the pressure on his hands up, that was smart. Because you don't want to drop your hands around Pacquiao.
A little bit down the line.
Yeah, he's got his mouth open. That's never very good. You're right. Well, Thurman walking straight in. He's got his hands up and elbows in.
His body, he's not really throwing any shots back. That's when he should swing around with that left hook.
There's a nice little move by both guys.
It sure is. Blood streaming down on both sides.
Thurman just reacted very badly.
Thanks very much, Chris. This is round 6. Thurman unbeaten, 29-0.
Look, at the end of that last round, Thurman was really unsteady walking back to his corner. His face is a bloody mess. They're having a hard time keeping that. Still have this type of energy and vibrancy and power. It's amazing.
Career Boxing Champions returns to Fox on August 3rd.
Nice right
Here at the MGM Grand.
I'll tell you what Mayweather's thinking right now.
Right. It's pretty amazing to think about that. As good as Thurman is, this just...
Thurman knocked down by Pacquiao back in round 1. Seconds remaining in round 6.
Keith's nickname was one time. I don't know if he's got one shot that could actually hurt.
Puts his hands down.
Or Thurman's team. Thurman told us that Ben Getty always told him. This is round 7. Remember, Thorman bet on himself.
Boxers don't usually do that. Bring him up, baby.
And then he takes his foot off the gas. I think he's got to give a good 3-minute effort for the next, 6 rounds here.
Touched himself in the head.
Yeah, Thurman slipped a left hand by Pacquiao
To be able to...
for 3 minutes.
Yeah, well, to cope with what Pacquiao's doing right now. He's got to...
Midway through round 7.
Oh, good right hand, left hook by Thurman.
See, if Thurman does this, gets through his combination, then moves away, Manny Pacquiao's going to...
The majority, if not all, the first 6 rounds.
No, I'm saying, he gets upset with himself.
Oh, good right uppercut by Manny. Oh, those punches are really... Oh, and a great right hand by Thurman. I think Thurman did most of the work in this round.
And to serve the people, to take care of the concerns, but a potential 5 more rounds to go here tonight in the ring.
Pushing Manny back, keeping him occupied, mixing up his offense both to the body and to the head.
2 rounds on his scorecard to Keith Thurman. Broken punches landed. Very close. To watch their heads.
Kenny Bay was one of the great referees of all time in Las Vegas.
About 20 seconds ago. As we hit the midway point of round 8, Kenny Albert, Lennox Lewis.
He needs this half of the fight. Good left hook by Thurman, as a matter of fact. But, if I'm breaking this up into two parts, I give the first, for round or 2 here or there. He won the first half. Thurman has got to win this half of the fight. Pacquiao's got such a great feel of what he needs to do in a fight, and he knew...
Yeah, Pacquiao, when he throws his punches, he doesn't stay there to admire his work. He's out of there. Yeah. He's showing you a different angle.
Well, he's looking for it twice, and he found it the second time a little bit, and the third time.
Time winding down here in round 8.
Oh, Thurman coming on good at the end here. Just gets steeled by that last flurry in the last 10 seconds.
And Thurman's been throwing that right hand.
I want to give credit where credit's due. Both corners are working really well on staunching the flow of blood. You got the way it looked about 4 or 5 rounds ago.
This is round 9, scheduled for 12. Working to defend his belt for the 4th time.
He shouldn't back up. He should be slipping and blocking and being there. Pacquiao will be closer for the counter. Thurman said in the first quarter, he said he looks at the fight in 3 quarters. So the first has been successful. It's been winning in rounds, and that's putting pressure on and taking it to Manny. Hitting him up against the ropes, that's scoring points, that's winning, that's going to win the round for you.
Nice combination by Thurman and the right hook.
He landed a right hand and a good hook. When he loses a set, a combination set, that he's got to get it back and even it up on the judges' scorecards. And that's what he's doing right now.
Most of their recent fights, Pacquiao in 8 of his last 9, Thurman in...
Punch high for Thurman in that last round. He's got paying off for him because he looks the more fresh right now. You just can't.
The scorer, Marcos Villegas.
Kenny, Keith Thurman has been doing a very good job of scoring with his jab.
All right, so Marcos has awarded Thurman 3 of the last 4 rounds.
Well, I don't disagree with those numbers because Pacquiao, either that or a punch, but it may have been a headbutt. I missed it. Right from the beginning, he went backwards. There's another headbutt right there. As Thurman threw that right uppercut, he's flinching a little bit. But here comes Thurman with a good left hook.
And then a right.
Shoulder's got a pain in his body or something. Yeah, that body language, that's what I was talking about earlier. That's not good. Okay, there you go. But again, Pacquiao stepped back and got out of the way.
Mouthpiece. Dropped it into his glove.
Yeah, it's a body shot. Yeah. Okay, well, you heard Dan Birmingham has been saying and advising, but Thurman has not been following the...
This is round 11, scheduled for 12 in Las Vegas on pay-per-view.
Well, I would say Pacquiao has 2 more effective punches.
2 minutes remaining here in round 11.
If you notice, Pacquiao's going with that left hand down to the rib cage in that last round when he's going back to it. Good left hook, right hand by Thurman. Good uppercut by Thurman. Without a doubt, Pacquiao's punches have been much more devastating.
Thurman got hurt in that last round. That's kind of slowed him down in this round.
Oh, good right hand by Thurman.
Yeah, he stepped into it when he threw that right hand.
Yes, he did. This is why he's one of the greatest.
And Thurman's reacting to anything Pacquiao is throwing right now. So, trying to get out of there when he should be looking for a way back. He should be looking to answer the call. Throw a punch back.
He's had great moments in the fight. Deal with 30-year-old champions that have never been beaten before. That being said, Birmingham knows that Keith Thurman needs a knockout to win this fight.
In 1998, in the flyweight division at the age of 19. Here he is 21 years later. He will turn 41 in December. Instructions from his trainer, Dan Birmingham, prior to this 12th round. He has 50 seconds left.
The thing is, Pacquiao's been able to absorb anything that Thurman's... Oh!
Throw him to the right.
Gotta come.
Pacquiao threw a right hook at the same time he got hit by that hand.
86 rounds in his pro career, the most of any active fighter. He's gone the distance in 9 of his last 10.
And judge at ringside, Tim Cheatham sees it 115 to 112 in favor of the winner, Manny Pacquiao!
Manny Pacquiao, the winner in a split decision.
From the Venetian, Macau, ladies and gentlemen.
Sellout crowd of 13,101, jacked up and into it as the combat gets underway in the ring.
Ready to come out using that jab. Rios, or was he coming out to training camp this time? So you know he's coming to give it his all.
Left hand shot has worked with tremendous and dedication in his...
Rios is trying to adjust to Pat here early. Be the butterflies he's feeling.
Pacquiao's already landed a couple of combinations.
The butterflies are not bothering Rios, but he does have to figure out how to adjust to his speed that he's never seen before.
Yeah, it's foot speed. He's able.
Pacquiao's jab and his left hand are good. That punch was right on the belt line. Rios goes down. Gina Rodriguez says it was Bonds at first, as though it was a knockdown. Pacquiao landing the left hand.
Double left hand, Jim. Very impressive punch.
Rios got in a...
Landed at the end of that exchange, too.
Now there goes the Pacquiao left hand, right down the pipe again. Better at blocking the shot, but Pacquiao's still too fast for Rios to see everything that's coming.
Oh, good left hand by Pacquiao.
Lead by Manny Pacquiao. Body shot again. Later in the round, he landed some straight left hands.
Yes, he did.
CompuBox numbers in round one: Pacquiao 20 of 54, Rios 5 of 32.
To remain as is. Pacquiao's corner, Freddie Roach told him in and out, in and out. Rios, Sia said, I want a few more rounds like that one. Stay low. I guess he means don't take too many chances early. Pressure fighter traditionally take a few rounds to get going, and Rios is a pressure fighter.
Not only that, after a few rounds, when Pacquiao slows down a little bit, the speed becomes much closer. The conversation ain't so far.
And those body shots are clearly part of the plan. Pacquiao down. Rios is the larger man. He outweighs Pacquiao unofficially by 9 pounds to the ring. He's an inch and a half taller. He's much more of a natural welterweight.
Dude like with a Mike Alvarado. He's chasing him very cautiously, knowing that Pacquiao can land a shot that could end the fight at any time.
Pacquiao's speed. It's also worth noting he hasn't fought us since he was 19 years old, 8 years ago.
But he's doing that, he's doing some business. And if you think about the market, this is a younger and closer to his prime version of that kind of fighter, if not a little smaller.
I know a guy like Robert Garcia knows that Margarita hurt Pacquiao very bad to the body in that fight.
And Rios is more skillful, I think, than Margarita.
Pacquiao's doing some body work here with the right combinations by Pacquiao in the last 20 or 30 seconds. Freddie Roach insisted that the 12-week training camp in the Philippines was Manny's in years, despite the painful distraction on me, which hit while...
Bring some more, but when Rios brought some more, it looked like
he's standing right in front of Brandon. I don't know.
Well, maybe because Freddie Roach told him he needs an early knockout, and he wants to get an early knockout.
Well, last time he told him he needed a knockout, we saw what happened.
From the ring, he said no to her, said no to his mother, said his career was going to continue, and it does. Pacquiao 42 of 83.
Hush just came over the crowd.
Maybe they understand that Rios isn't going to go away so easily. Even while Pacquiao bats him around with his...
No question Pacquiao's winning the fight, but Rios has made improvement on little by little and dangerous, at least looking.
As long as Rios
no longer seems quite as interested in standing in front of Brandon Rios as was the case in the first round.
Yeah, but he's not moving. I want to see him move, Jim. Like right there, he's still standing too close. If Benny's that close, Rios... That's the kind of move you want to do. Punch and get around Rios. That right there. What you want to see Pacquiao do.
He comes in at angles. Much more active the first two.
Doing like Freddie told him. Freddie told him not to engage in a battle yet. Use his feet, step around and box the guy until you wear him down a little bit more. Then you can battle with him.
There Rios used his jab, as you said, Leroy, and it had a good effect.
Pacquiao corner. That's Rios' office. That's where he can go.
That's where he does his business.
Good hooks. When Miguel Cotto fought Shane Mosley, he used his jab to neutralize Shane Mosley's speed.
Rios got in a couple of good shots. Pacquiao felt he'd answer back, stood his ground, and fired away.
They're trading heavy.
This is a little mark under Brandon Rios' right eye.
This is what Rios wants.
Style fight suddenly.
Around, Pacquiao's been moving and picking his shots. Like that. Now Rios gets a chance to try to trap him again. And hits in a body shot. 16 of 50. Rios. The competitive margin between the two of them narrowing since round one.
7, Manny Pacquiao. You know, Jim, for a southpaw, he's Jim, or right something, and then he turns. It's hard for Rios to get him because he's always uses that right hand better than any southpaw I can remember. Look, a combination, but he always starts with the right hand. Put the right hand right there. 3-0, Manny Pacquiao.
And he's off to a hot start in round number 4.
Most said afterwards, wow, the power was surprising from a little guy, you know, once he moved up in weight. Here, Rios seems pretty comfortable power shots. And he's taking a lot of them.
And you take that power, you know what power really is.
Manny Pacquiao paused to talk to Gina Rodriguez, and Rios kept hitting it throughout the whole.
I don't like Pacquiao's body language myself, Jim. See a guy kind of enjoying what he's doing. Brandon's enjoying what he's doing. Pacquiao really is not.
The dynamo Pacquiao, when he kind of punches, you saw more welterweight, even though he's coming up in weight. He's a big, strong welterweight here.
So the question that seems to be emerging in our discussion here, he is scoring mistake if we started where he hadn't won the first match. But yes, Rios likes what he's doing.
That's the fight Pacquiao needs right there. When you see that part, see that hand point right there, that guy you want to see. Not Pacquiao just standing right there in front of Brandon.
Robert Garcia wants Rios not to follow him, meaning turn every time Pacquiao turns, but he wants to cut him to cut off the ring, to slide over.
What he's doing wrong right now is not starting with a body attack.
This round, having to work very hard to do it. Pacquiao got in one big left hand. Of course, Manny Pacquiao is even more capable of doing that with his faster feet than Mike Alvarado. But now we're fighting at 147. Rios Alvarado was at 140.
Rios has Pacquiao moving to pass. Probably what Rios wants. At least he did.
Oh, good one. He stepped off Rios' jab and countered with a straight left hand. Best punching fight for Pacquiao so far. Look at what Rios up.
Hitting above. Pacquiao, when he scores stoppages, wears his opponent down, which is
hard left hands to the body by Pacquiao. Three of them are left upstairs.
But not throwing punches. He's got to stick that right hand out. Put out to the right like he's doing and never hit him up.
Rios' best punch is that stiff. When he throws it, it's been effective.
But now it's forcing him to keep the left hand at home for a defense.
Right.
See, right there, you should use a straight right hand to the body. Not, don't want to headhunt against a guy like Pacquiao.
Brandon Rios is so good at working the body with the in a clinch. Not good at stopping Manny Pacquiao from firing combinations in the middle of the ring.
Who can?
One way to stop him from firing is catching something with something hard in the exchange and knock him down or out.
And that's what Brandon's trying to do right now.
It could be dangerous for Manny.
Great body shot with the left by Pacquiao. Left, right, left. Good combination. His remarkable speed, his still thunderous punching authority, and his ability to get away from Brandon Rios' forward rushes. Scintillating round for him. 9 of 21 for Brandon Rios.
He started fighting before the bell.
Hand shot landed for Pacquiao.
My hand a little bit more. Pacquiao's hitting him with the straight left hand. The opposite thing to do is hit Pacquiao back with the straight right hand.
Hard
with his jab, that's the time to throw the straight right
after
hand.
the jab.
Yeah, because I'm surprised.
I think the real key is, Roy, Pacquiao's being disciplined about not chasing a metal land, the third and fourth punch. He's firing his 1-2 combinations away, and he's making it hard for Brandon to answer.
Yeah, and Rios is not yet in sellout mode.
Two hard body shots for Rios.
Right, he's having enough moments like that feel as though he needs to sell out his game plan. Yeah.
Good body.
Rios laid answers to the body. The left hand to the body, the straight left to the body, was a main focus of training camp for Pacquiao.
Good left hand to the head.
That's been there since the beginning of time. Now Pacquiao looks at Gino Rodriguez to complain about a Lobo. Rodriguez does nothing. Brandon. Answer, Manny, you're going to have to protect yourself against the body blows. Gino Rios knocks him upside the head. Rodriguez is not
Oh, good shot.
yet.
Oh, that hurt Brandon Rios, I think. Know it. That's just who he is.
He'll remain dangerous even as he's hurt.
And the low blow, Pacquiao that time stayed in there, fire the fourth and fifth punch in the combination.
Pacquiao clearly
Product of a Pacquiao right hook. Left hook by Rios. Ruslan Provodnikov, happy about numbers through 6. Pacquiao's 139 out of 394. Those are very good numbers. Brandon Rios.
I got it 6-0, 60-50. Sometimes he leads with that at the time. He throws 3 or 4 punch combinations. Then he moves. I mean, he turns to his left, he turns to his Rios covered up. He's just doing a job on him. Nothing. Manny Pacquiao.
Clawing at the blood on his left eye.
Eyes are beginning to show damage.
a straight left hand that Pacquiao keeps landing repeatedly.
At one point, does Rios think, okay, not working? As I mentioned, he hadn't sold out his game plan yet. And I have to throw some blind left hook active.
I'd say we're getting there. I'd say we're getting there. The toy with him.
Yeah, now he's having fun. That's what you want to see out of Pacquiao. You want to see him out there having a good time. He does.
And just when Rios was starting to do some damage to the body, straight left hand lands for Pacquiao. Hard right hand by Rios, his best punch in a while. Pacquiao lands his own right hook. Just misses with a left hook. Finally drives Pacquiao into the ropes like a football player. He gets away.
Are there any moments left in the fight for Rios where it's a complete paint job?
Yeah, the notion of grinding Pacquiao is ebbing away. It's going to take an explosion of some.
You wonder also.
Sipain sa itlog. Sige.
Up. 7 rounds in the books. Longest by knockout because he had changed his religion. And he says every longest layoff of his career. 300 a variety of people said taking the long layoff was the smartest thing.
To relax and reset itself and come back down. The punches as you see him are hitting him with really are. I think the layoff was really good for him.
Ayan na guys.
It's good to help his confidence and everything else as far as taking the punch.
So far, we use his size. He's thrown some hard shots, he's been opportunistic. As was the expectation of many.
Manny Pacquiao is allowing Brandon Rios to fire all these right hooks on urgently to the left hand. Manny is saying, it's your left hook that
bothered him. Took care of Alvarado in that first fight pretty good.
There's the left hook from Brandon Rios, and he chops.
Yeah, this punch he seems to have gotten away from it.
Jab, but you can do that.
Make some shots, punch with Pacquiao.
Pacquiao's earlier focus on body shots may now altering as the looks at Brandon Rios' right and left for him. A willful warrior
right now.
The average of very representative Manny Pacquiao numbers. The Rios rounds, 13 and those are not representative numbers, and they won't win him the fight. Pacquiao ripping Rios with straight left hands. And is looking to continue trying to break Pacquiao down.
Very hard for him to find a way to break Pacquiao down, but the one expected to beat Pacquiao by decision.
So far, in terms of fighting throughout the round, rather than taking long rest periods Pacquiao has left, what we've seen in terms of a return to form is Pacquiao as he had against Tim Bradley, for example.
Exactly. Focus, concentration, devotion.
Last two rounds.
Good body shot by Rios.
Sige. Sakit ng likod ko, sabi ni Paco, sakit ng ulo ko sa likod.
In that fight, but most think he didn't deserve it. And then the Alvarado fight. Rios is the kind of guy who's able to overcome fights where maybe it didn't like he was having his best night or his way. He could shake it off and come through. At this moment, he's still trying to land big, although maybe not quite as much in this round as this round.
Well, this is the biggest hand speed deficit I think Rios has ever faced. The hand speed on Manny Pacquiao. As he goes, speed is power.
Speed is power.
Speed is power, so.
Left eye. He saw blood earlier outside the left eye. The right eye hasn't burst open yet, but it's threatening to do so. Harold, how do you have it through 9?
Jim, I still say it's an easy fight to score. 90-81, landing and turning. You know, landing and turning. And I got to tell you, I'll say what I said, the right hand that you don't see southpaws.
Risky and give the rounds the way Martinez tried for a knockout and gave Chavez Jr. the chance to land those.
Well, so far this has been not the physical phenom Pacquiao, though he's been landing very good shots. This has been the Freddie Roadbull Pacquiao, the guy Freddie took and refined from this physical phenom.
It's very difficult to deal with him. Now he seems to be
in his Chavez fight.
Yes.
It's looked a lot like that.
Will Pacquiao give Rios chances late and will
doesn't have the kind of punching thunder that Chavez Jr. has.
He doesn't have what?
The punching thunder.
No, he doesn't, but he does throw the right type of punch.
And to a small welter
with his unofficial weight.
Because Pacquiao punches so hard, he wouldn't let the hands go like that.
There's a certain kind of stubbornness. It's a Rocky movie right now that Chavez Jr. also has. That served Chavez
fight because he's been throwing the left upstairs, firing at the eyes. Power shots in round 10.
I love it. You know, we're both glad at the end, in spite of the damage.
Broken door continues to this day.
Well, Brandon hasn't taken the abuse.
Hasn't been quite as defenseless as the slower Margarito was.
No broken bones so far. Good look by Pacquiao.
Wala naman siya. Guys, namumula na guys.
This is his best punch in quite a while.
Got Pacquiao's attention.
Pacquiao felt it.
Good body shot by Brandon too.
Delikado si Pacquiao guys.
Pacquiao. 4 minutes left in the fight. Lands a right hand. Jab and a right hand by Rios. He's getting better in this round. Pacquiao tiring just a bit, or so it seems.
Chavez Jr. by moments in the 11th round.
Correct.
That were
As suddenly it appears unequivocally. As we come to the 12th round, Harold Letterman has given every one of the 11 rounds in the fight to Manny Pacquiao.
Instructions in the corner play out because they want more aggression, obviously, in Rios' corner. And packed out in his last fight, jumping in. Pacquiao was.
He don't want him to jump in on him. What he wants with the 4 and 5 punch combinations to keep him back like that.
Manny Pacquiao, actually, it was a left-hand combo.
Yeah, he wants him to keep him on the end like that so that Brandon.
His face and head.
Yeah, but as you see, Martin pull back off of Brandon Rios because he knows last time we went too quick, he got caught himself. So he just
wobble there like the Rios.
Is enjoying looking at Rios' swollen, bloodied face. He promised it into hard shots. He's boxing experts that he would get a knockout or a TKO worth the risk. Maybe innocently the pile he has so far. The crowd loves it.
Yes. Sino kayo mananalo guys? Pero napanood natin ito guys eh. Tapos na guys, bakbakan guys. Yes, congratulations to our winner, Manny Pacquiao.
With the left hand, right uppercut, four punches, and moves out to his team. Pacquiao step off of Brandon's jab right there, counter with a beautiful straight left hand, pounding in, right on the right eye of Brandon Rios. Brandon Rios smiles, but usually when they smile, they feel it. I mean, Pacquiao
Sana
coming in with
nag-enjoy kayo guys sa palaro natin ngayon.
3,
Tapos na guys, tapos na ang laro
once
nila.
he gets Brandon Rios on the defense, he just keeps his hands moving to try
We go to the scorecards. Michael Pernick scores it 120 to 108. Leeson Jaffa has it 119 to 109. And Manfred Kuchler scores it 118 to 110. All to the winner by unanimous decision. He's back. The fighting pride of the Philippines.
Yes, congratulations Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao is the best medicine. Brandon is good now, you know. Brandon is good now, you know.
Let's go to Max Kellerman with the winner.
Guys, I hope you enjoy guys. Thank you. Good morning. Ayan, sa mga hindi pa nakasubscribe sa akin yan guys ha, please subscribe my YouTube channel para updated kayo sa mga lumang sports natin ha. Diba guys? Malumang sports. Malumang sports lang yan, mga old na paglipasan na ng mga laro. Kaya stay tuned. Please subscribe my YouTube channel and hit the notification bell para updated kayo sa aking mga bagong lumang video. Bagong luma pala guys. No? So bye bye guys.